Please tell us the premise of your new film, The Boogeyman.
Well, The Boogeyman is about a family dealing with the death of the mother, and they are, uh, and the father is a therapist. He gets a strange visitor, uh, who brings an entity with him that starts trying to, hurt and kill the family.
Great. And you play Sawyer, one of two sisters working through the recent death of her mother while encountering this really scary entity, as you said. So, how did you first learn about this role?
Well, it came in as an audition. And at first, I was a little unsure about the audition because I was thinking, I don't want to play another little kid who's scared of her own closet, can't sleep at night. And so finally, my mom encouraged me to read the script, and I did. And I mean, once you got past those parts, like I fell in love with Sawyer. She became this little girl who protected her family, even though they didn't leave her about this thing that's in her house.
Mhm.
And she's just such a brave character that is one of my favorite I've ever played.
That's great. So, when you first read the script, was there anything else in addition to her bravery that made you want to play her?
Well, I thought it was really interesting how her and her older sister Sadie's bond played out throughout the movie, um, which had like they weren't close sisters. Like, of course, they had their arguments very often,
Mhm.
but Sadie was kind of always there for Sawyer. And once this grief strikes, she kind of isn't anymore. And she's dealing with her own things and she needs to be comforted. And I think getting to see that bond reform after such a terrible incident is just so sweet throughout the movie.
Definitely. And you and fellow breakout star Sophie Thatcher play siblings. And did the two of you get to spend any time together prior to filming to kind of help build that sisterly bond or just to get to know each other? Because I think that translated
Yeah.
pretty well on screen.
Yeah, we did actually. Rob set up these little family outings, which was me, Sophie, and Chris Messina, who played my dad. We would go on these little trips, like we went to the aquarium, we went bowling, me and Sophie went to an arcade together and played games, to kind of have these family memories that we could remember to keep that bond together throughout the movie. And it was so sweet. I mean, they were both so kind. I think we really had a similar bond that portrays into the movie. And it was just so fun being around both of them and getting to see them again, doing press for it. It's just so awesome.
That's great. And talk about working with director Rob Savage. Did he offer you any advice while you were filming?
I mean, I love Rob. He was so sweet. He, I think, was a great director, and I'm so happy for him. This is his first big studio movie, and it turned out amazing. He's so proud of it, and I am too, of course. Um, he would I mean, like, Rob just, he was so fun and he kept the mood light around set because, like, sometimes it's difficult to do that with a horror movie. Like, um, people are trying not to be like scary on set because they know that it's already so scary in the movie. But then, like, it's also kind of hard when that mood has to be set in like the darkness the entire time. And Rob really brought in that light. Even though he's kind of a creepy person, to be honest, the kind of stories he'd tell,
Mhm.
he's definitely doing what he's supposed to do in this world. But he was just like he was so funny. He was so sweet. I remember one of my favorite memories on set is we were filming in the second unit, which was like little outtakes and stuff, and that we needed to put in, like maybe a hand grabbing something, And they were also doing stuff on the first unit. And like it was the stages were like all the way across. So we were going over there to film stuff in second unit, and Rob had to be going back and forth, right? And so to make it easier, they gave him a scooter to go back and forth.
Mhm.
And I remember us walking, me and my mom, down to the place where they had the basement set up, and Rob just whizzing by on a scooter and going, "Look, Viv, they gave me a scooter!" And I mean, like, he was just so fun, and he really brought a really cool energy to set.
Great. And you mentioned, the film itself is very scary in terms of the subject matter, the way that it's shot. But do you have some favorite scenes or any moments that you think were the scariest to film during the course of the Boogeyman?
Um, I don't know. I feel like none of them were really that scary to film,
Mhm.
but as far as like how they turned out, I feel like the scariest have got to be the scene where I'm playing video games in the living room while the sleepover's happening, and then the boogeyman throws me into the TV. Spoiler alert. Um, I think that was just probably one of the most scary scenes in the movie. And then, of course, all the basement stuff was just terrifying. But apart from that, I think probably the video game scene.
That's a good one. And during such an intense shoot and film, how did you shake off a long day of filming? What did you do for fun?
Well, we were in a really awesome part of town because we were filming in New Orleans.
Mhm.
And I mean, New Orleans is just so fun. There's so much to do. We were right next to a giant Dave and Buster's. Our hotel was literally like combined with
Mhm.
it. And then we were like 2 blocks away from Bourbon Street, which we went down to all the time. We got masks. I was really into Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch all the time, so I would play that. We got to like there was this little ice cream shop right near Bourbon Street that we would go to on Friday nights, and I would get rainbow sherbet, me and my mom, and it was just there was so much fun stuff to do there. We got to go to the zoo, which was an amazing zoo, by the way, such an awesome big one. I mean, it was just a really fun city to film in. Like I like to say, I feel like if if I could choose my favorite place
Mhm.
to film, aside from, of course, LA, because that's where I live and it's good to sleep in your own bed after a hard day's work, it would be New Orleans because it was just incredible.
It is a very cool city.
And we were there right at the right time. We were filming like uh the month of Mardi Gras, the month before, and the month after. So that's like
Okay.
the time to go. The
Yeah,
weather's perfect. All the cool animals are out. Everybody's so happy because it's Mardi Gras season. There's so many parades. That's definitely the season to go.
definitely. That sounds like a really cool experience. What do you think it is about this movie that is going to make it, kind of a time honored horror classic?
Well, I think, of course, it's Stephen King, and anything with that name on it is going to become an instant classic for sure.
Mhm.
I think just this movie, it's so scary in such a real sense because it's based off something that is real, like depression and grief, of how if you don't let go of something really sad or really scary or that makes you really angry, then it will loom over you forever, and it can deeply damage yourself in an emotional and even to a physical way. And I think the boogeyman really personifies that.
Mhm.
I I'm not sure if I can use that word. Like I've said it a few times, but he's not a person. Like entity wise, maybe.
Mhm.
But whatever. He makes that
Yeah.
into this terrifying creature. That feels so real that you're gonna come home and start locking all your closet doors and never looking under the bed, putting the mattress on the ground. Like there is no under the bed space. I don't know what you're talking about. And never playing video games in a dark room again.
Hmm.
I think those things kind of will just stick with people who've watched the movie, and that'll make it something that makes people want to see it again and again until it becomes really a classic horror movie.
Yeah, definitely. You have a pretty impressive filmography, and you've done a lot of work in science fiction and horror. What is it about these stories that attracts you to them?
I mean, it's just kind of the auditions to get it, to be honest, but it's really just so fun because it explores like a whole nother side that could never be real. Like the fun part about acting is getting to portray something
Mhm.
that like you could never imagine possible. Like doing like a sitcom, sure it's fun, sure you get to meet nice people, but if it's like a family sitcom, can't you just live that with your own family constantly? Like it's not that that much of a dream. But to get to me being in Obi-Wan Kenobi, like getting to fly into space and crazy ships and meeting aliens
Yeah.
and then going and getting chased by a monstrous entity. Like it's kind of explores the part of you that's really just a dreamer and getting to dream up these incredible things that you get to actually go through with in this sense. But you can't really get that with like a comedy or a drama, because that's just they tend to be based off of real normal life things that could happen at any day to you.
Yeah, that's true. And congratulations on the acceptance of your short film Heritage Day into the Palm Springs Short Fest. So, what was it like getting to kind of help write and produce a new project?
Well, that was, I mean, amazing. It's my first producer credit, hopefully of many more. And it was so fun. I got to be with all people I know on set because I got to hire them, and I could be like, oh, I worked with this costume designer on Obi-Wan. I really like them. We should, use them. And it was just amazing. And one of my favorite parts about that was my best friend. I've known her since I was 6 months old, maybe. And we uh, my mom got a text from her mom saying that she just got a COVID compliance officer job on a short film called Heritage Day. We were like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness. So it turns out my best friend and her little sister were background on Heritage Day, and I got to hang out with my best friend all day while shooting, which was just, I mean, a dream come true for me for sure, and getting to do all that while being a producer and um of course as a favor for Laura because we met each other a few years back on a short film that she did as well.
Mhm.
And I mean it was just such an awesome experience.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations again. And
Thank
what's
you.
next for you? Tell us about anything else you might be working on.
Well, I just finished shooting a movie called Goodrich with Michael Keaton and Mila Kunis, which was really awesome. They were both really nice. And I it's a really sweet like family comedy drama movie that since it just finished shooting, it's gonna be a lot of editing before it's out. It's gonna be like a year. But yeah, I'm in that. And then yeah, that's all I've got so far. But we're really hoping for some sequel material.
Definitely. I'm sure you'll get there. Is there anything that you would like to say to fans and supporters of your work?
Um, I don't know. I think uh anyone who's interested in acting, it's a lot of work and a whole lot of waiting. But I think never give up on that because no matter how many times you hear no, which is going to be a lot in this industry, I never gave up, and neither should any of you.